He's the superstar. He gets perks, but you can't be late for flights all the time. You're not running everything like you did before. And furthermore, he has to be willing to sign that long-term contract extension when he's able. And I say all that because of this. If he doesn't give you that, then you have to trade him at some point this season because you have the leverage right now, but as time goes on, he will get the leverage. And if he goes in the next year in Houston saying the same thing, I want to be traded, then he'll have real leverage and it'll lower the value on the market and teams will know that you're desperate and they'll offer you even less. So I said a lot there, but unless he says he wants to stay in Houston long term and is willing to sign the extension, then unfortunately you still are going to have to trade him at some point.
I like how you laid out that scenario, but the reality is this, Chris. James Harden will be traded by the end of this month. Like, he's not going to go too much longer as a Houston Rocket. We know who he is as a player. They may even be a better team with John Wall and Boogie and family and friends. Maybe. Right? Better than Russ, better than CP3, better than Dwight Howard and all those other guys they traded for to try to get it done. But this comes down to James Harden looking at his team, looking at the bench and saying, can this team put a ring right here? And the answer is no. You get a better opportunity in Brooklyn. You get a better opportunity in Philly, even in Denver, in Miami. So James Harden right now is going to play lights out. But at the end of the day, after every practice, he's calling his agent, like, get it done. Get it done now. I need to go on and be with my new team. So that's the reality, is James Harden has his mind made up because it's not about a contract. It's not about the city. I think he loves Houston. Nick, you talk about it all the time. But it comes down to, I've done everything as a player that I could possibly do, and the last thing I need to do to solidify my legacy is win a championship.
But this is where Harden is his own worst enemy. And that's in a good and a bad way. He's his own worst enemy in a bad way with some of the Instagrammed off-court shenanigans that took a guy like me who has done nothing but defend Harden. Even I said it's too much. But he's his own worst enemy in a good way in that he had 33, 6, and 8 last night. And it was unquestionably his worst game of the year. He's too good. There are 4 human beings alive who, if they are healthy, guarantee you a playoff berth. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. That's the list. Anthony Davis, love you. Saw you in New Orleans. Didn't guarantee a playoff berth. Steph Curry, one of the 18 greatest players ever. Love you. Seeing you this year. Not guaranteeing a playoff berth. He's so good. He's so good that if you're Houston, you look at, okay, what did New Orleans get for Anthony Davis? Oh, they got the 4th pick of the draft. They got a former number 2 pick, another former number 2 pick, Josh Hart. They got all this, and by the way, 2 future picks and swaps. Okay, that's where it starts for us. So he's too good, Wilds, for them to take anything other than the biggest haul, or tied for the biggest haul, that's ever been traded for a player. So who's going to step up? I think Masai Ujiri will step up. I think Masai Ujiri understands the goal is to win championships. Danny Ainge could learn from him, because I don't think Ainge is going to step up. I would recommend Bob Myers take a long look in the mirror and say, you know what? Steph Curry turns 33 soon. We're going to miss the playoffs. Weissman has more value right now than he did on draft day. He's played so well and had so many flash moments. Like, what would that package look like? So I just feel like if you're the Rockets, you have to trade him for at least 95 cents on the dollar, and 95 cents on the dollar for a walking playoff berth is at least the Anthony Davis haul.
Okay, so Wiseman, yes, obviously. Toronto wants to move Siakam? Sure, he just got benched. He got disciplined. That seems to stink, so you can move him. The weird part is about the Heat, Broussard. The trade rumors are starting to heat up again, but they seem to love Tyler Hero, and I like Tyler Hero. Don't get me wrong, I like Duncan Robinson, but the fact that they seem to want to hold on to those guys, I don't know. And you give me your take on this. I don't know if they actually like those guys so much. They're playing chess where it's like, well, if we say we don't want to, give up those guys, their value will go up. Like, wow, if Pat Riley doesn't want to give up Tyler Hero, he must be even better than we thought. Or is there some trepidation that James Harden won't fit into Heat culture? That Jimmy Butler, like, we get here, we work, we're about all business, that James Harden won't actually fit? Which one of those things do you think is preventing the Heat from making the move?
Well, Pat Riley's always playing chess, so you can bank on that. However, yeah, there's got to be a little concern because the Heat is big on culture. They know it is not just about talent. Jimmy Butler's not the most talented player in the world, but he fits so well into their culture that you saw what happened last season. So there's a little concern about that, but I want to go here. James Harden has got to look in the mirror, too. As great as he is, Nick, and you were right, I don't remember if Giannis was on your list, but let's say this. If you take the players on Harden's level and exchange them with him, exchange LeBron with Harden in Houston, Kawhi, Kevin Durant, and Giannis.
They don't want a title.
Houston's considered a contender. They don't. He's not winning a title there. But he's not winning a title in Toronto.
I mean in the past.
He's not winning a title in Denver. He's not winning a title in Portland either. Like, half the teams on his list probably not winning a title in Miami. Like, he's starting to put teams on his list that aren't going to be any better. He's not going to be in a better situation than he is right now in Houston. And he's got to look around him and see that he's got some talent. I agree, not championship talent. But where can he go other than Brooklyn that we know he's going to have a great chance at winning a title?
Well, so I disagree in that I think he would have a very good chance in Miami, a very good chance in Philly. I think we have to trust what the Toronto has built. They have Raptors culture. They just don't market it as well as the Heat fans do and Pat Riley does, but what they've built up in Toronto. And I should have included Giannis on my list of walking playoff berths. My apologies to Giannis because he hasn't had the playoff success. I forgot about him, which I shouldn't have done. But the point is, and this kind of draws together what Broussard was saying and what Brandon was saying, the biggest obstacle to James Harden winning a title previously, it was partially that you had to go through the Warriors, and it was partially that James Harden is an all-time great that didn't quite play great enough. So if he does want to go somewhere and be the final, it's not just getting there. It's also playing better in the most crucial moments of the postseason where he has some great moments, but he also has some pretty bad failures. That's the last piece of his legacy puzzle that he can fill in himself, not his team around him, Jenna.
All right, again, Houston coming off a nice win last night. We'll take a turn, get back to the NFL.